This doesn't make any logical sense. Well, yeah, it's fiction. That's what it's supposed to be, right? Even when it does make sense, it's not supposed to. Can we be absolutely honest? One of the things that absolutely ruins like anything for anyone or anybody when it comes to the realm of fiction is when people try to put logical sense into it, right? Like I have seen many YouTubers, many people just online in general, just people all over the place be like, wait, how does this logically work out? Why is this logically a thing? Logically, it's not supposed to make sense, right? And when you add that into what you're watching, of course you're gonna start hating it because you just put real world logic into something that does not supposed to have it, right? And again, even if it does make sense, obviously there's a point of it where you can point it out where it's like, no it doesn't, and all that type of stuff, right? And that's the one thing why I feel like fan service get hit on the most. Oh, where's the logic in all this? When obviously you don't need to add that to it. It's not really supposed to be happening into it. Now, to be obviously fair, you're gonna have moments where you get, fan service that, exists for the sake of just being there, right? Like anytime we see interspecies reviewer be a thing, you have fat ass witch tits, which, yeah, that sounds like a good ass time. But then at the very same time, you also get stories and shows that does rely on it in a way where it does progress plots and going forward. Whether you believe it's a good thing, whether you believe it's a bad thing, I'll leave that in your hands. But at the very same time, it does exist and it can have its uses just beyond women being fine or anything of the sort. But I hate so many people beyond the branch of like, this completely ruins the show for me. I am going to call the High Council and beat your ass with multiple sticks made of oak. Like, that's how it feels for like a lot of people when it comes down to it. And it doesn't make, again, any sense, right? And they be saying this stuff like in shows that obviously is aimed at, teenagers and people of the shonen variety, and then especially people that mainly only watch shonen shows. When they see stuff like this, they get like 5,000 times more pissed for no reason when you realize the damn trope or genre that you're watching is going to have that because of the audience what it aimed at. Yes, Fairy Tail's gonna have jiggly tits all the time. Yes, it's gonna have some of that in shonen shows when it comes down to it. You know why it has it in those shows? Because that demographic obviously is gonna be thinking, damn, this girl about fine as hell. And we already gonna be in that mindset when you're, a teenager back then, right? And if you're someone that's an adult that watching it now, just know you're not the demographic that it's aiming for. Even though it does get an adult demographic, that doesn't mean that that's the demographic that it's aiming for. And then that stirs the pot again with having people to come through and be like, you know what, I'm gonna just keep watching this show and then get more pissed off as I watch it. Or you get people that basically think, oh, one slight moment of the slightest bit of fan service ruins everything for you, and you just immediately on a tirade like, this is what ruins anime, while I come at you with a damn steel chair. Like, that's just kind of how it is for majority of the time when you watch people react to this type of stuff on the internet, right? And it just kind of goes on from there to even more dumber levels that we can just list off completely. Like, so many people also was like, yo, why does fan service get so much attention? Because that's the point. If fan service is not getting the attention, it's either A, they did the fan service wrong and it's definitely not something that people really care for, and then B, the whole universe is just out of whack. Because that's the whole point. Wow, panties fly in the air? Dang, why did that happen? I gotta look at that. If that's not catching your attention as it's supposed to, then something is clearly wrong and the universe got 2 seconds to actually fix itself before it blows up. That's the only logical sense I got. Then you also gotta realize that people go into certain shows, and certain shows are made for certain reasons and for certain people, right? Because if you go into a show that obviously is setting the tone as like, hey, we have big old bouncy boobs, so this one character here gonna have that for the whole dang show, and then you get pissed off about it, you have no one to blame but yourself. It's like when people, complain about, oh, my child is playing this certain game, I blame the game itself. No, blame your bad parenting and blame the child for doing something they ain't supposed to. If you just whip the shit out of them for 5 seconds, they might not do the same thing again, and they might not necessarily have a reason of learning from that thing that you don't like. right? But then so many people just throw that logic out the window, blame the manufacturer or whatever, and essentially be so blinded by their own stupidity, everybody goes dumb as a result. Like, that's the whole point when you get a lot of people on the internet involved when it comes down to these type of series and shows and games and whatever, because it's like, you do realize there's people that like this stuff, right? There's the money involved in that stuff, right? And people be more than happy to spend money to see their favorite thing gets animated, or, produce another sequel just so they can see more of that character or more of that thing, right? That just naturally how it is. And that's the point of fan service to another degree. It's to sell your stuff. It's to sell your Dakamakuras. It's to sell your merch. It's to sell basically anything that you can get your hands on. Slap the character's face on anything and easily you got money printed. That's just kind of how it is. That's like the one other major aspect of why fan service is prevalent, outside the fact of just using it just because. That's like if you play Danganronpa and you get extremely mad at, how certain characters kind of act, or what certain, angles that you can kind of see of certain characters in certain CGs. It's just like, well, you kind of already know what this is setting up. Yes, it's a, killing game, 16 students, Mukuro, Ikusaba, and all that. Yeah, it's going to have a plot of its own, and it's going to be having moments where it can get serious. But at the same time, if you look at the characters for more than 5 seconds, if you look at how they kind of act all the time, you would know this isn't something that you should take brutally serious, like an AOT or something like that. No, it's going to have its fun moments, and you're going to have enjoyment with it, right? And that's why people would get so mad about, UDG, which granted, I understand why, but I don't think it's the worst thing in the universe. Yes, the way obviously Kodako was like, shown to be going through something, and then only for them to use her as like a object essentially, which half and half, it's like, yeah, I can understand why that's a bad thing, but at the same time, it makes kind of complete sense, because there is people that have gone through bad things in their lives, unfortunately at ages like that, and then essentially it kind of sticks with them for a long ass period of time. Case in point, and I'll even point out my own damn show, when it comes to any of the original female characters I have ever created into story, they've all, for the most part, most of them, gone through something similar, where it's like, yeah, they got used sexually in some shape or form where they shouldn't have, or they've been involved in something of that sort of thing where they really shouldn't be involved in. But at the very same time, they kind of don't necessarily mind that, because it low-key kind of shaped them into what they are, right? And that's just kind of how it is, People go through things like that, and that's kind of like a coping mechanism for them, and that's something that just can't be helped unless they just want to break out of it, which, if they do so, that's good, that's your own story, that's your own testimony to tell. But at the very same time, people do use lewd stuff as a coping mechanism, or it just grows into them as a person as they grow as an adult, and essentially they just like, well, you know what, a big pair of titties sounds right up my alley right now. And it's not that they're going to do anything crazy with that, it's just like, yeah, we just enjoy this a lot more now. I am not saying that this is a good thing, I am just saying that this is how people can absolutely become. And also, you don't really see volleys get looted too much anymore, which makes me incredibly sad. But when it does happen, it is the damn, parade of the century. We gotta go ahead and be like, hell yes, we like to see more of that, please. Put the damn flat table of their damn chests on my freaking screen, and we got a good ass time here, right? But when it comes down to it though, that's besides the point. Even someone like, Tamaki for Fire Force, which Fire Force is coming back, thankfully, because I was so scared that we were never going to get Fire Force ever again, because of how many bitch-ass people want to complain about that. But still, we're getting it, and I'm happy for it. But just know, when it does come back, people are going to be like, oh, it's Tamaki, and all that type of nonsense, while I'm out here just like, hey, Tamaki, let me cop a feel real quick, and I get to cop that feel. That's gonna be absolutely amazing. And yo bitch ass gonna be melted on the ground like the witch from, the Wizard of Oz or some shit. And I'm like, well, that's your ass. That's just kind of how it is. Now give me some of that milk, Tamaki. So that's just kind of how it is for me. But when it comes down to it, it's not like it's perfect, obviously, that you can use it, because yeah, Tamaki does have, a few moments where it's like, yeah, you can understand it ruins maybe a scene or two, but still, it's kind of the point of her character. It's not supposed to make logical sense. That would be crazy. That'd be like if you see your next door neighbor who looks decent and they just automatically slip on some ice or some shit, and then every clothing part of themselves came off. Like, does that make logical sense of how Tamaki does things? Of course not. No, it doesn't. But when it comes down to it, that's anime for ya. It's supposed to be like that. It's been like this since the 80s, and even before that. It's supposed to be like that because it's fiction. It's not supposed to make logical sense. This is like when people add like 5,000 types of like expectations to a game or to a story or something like that, only for them to think, oh, it's gonna go this way, but it goes another way, and then they get severely disappointed. I'm not saying that you can't be disappointed. I'm not saying that you can't criticize it, but at the very same time, it's kind of your fault also for adding in that expectation, right? Whether you should or you shouldn't is definitely, up to your discretion and up for you to use. But at the same time, if you come through and you see Tamaki on screen and you see like a moment going on with the story, just know 80% of that time Tamaki probably is going to do something, right? And that's kind of the whole point of Fire Force. It sets a tone where it's like, yeah, we do have good moments, we do have battling moments, we do have serious stuff, but at the very same time, you're also going to get fun times with Tamaki. You're going to get fun moments between the characters. Hell, and it's not even just Tamaki. Like, if you really want to talk about distractions of the plot, Arthur is also a damn distraction of the plot with his stupidity and how crazy that shit's gonna go in the next couple, episodes of the season go on, right? It's gonna get very weird, but that's the point of Fire Force, though. It doesn't be afraid to go to that length, and that's what makes it cool. Honestly, for a lot of these shows, a lot of these games, a lot of the time when you see, fan service kind of happen or things that is out of place happen, it usually is ruined because you don't think it makes logical sense, or you just really are just one of the people from Twitter that just hates everything, because of course you do. And then we say, oh, just watch something else. You end up being a little bitch and don't necessarily watch anything else because you just want to stay mad all the time. Like, literally find someone else to do. Like, people complain about, oh, if you enjoy fan service so much, you're like one of those neckbeard bastards. I feel like if you hate everything so much, you're one of those neckbeard bastards. Can we be absolutely real? I just really hate how much of the point it has gone to when it comes down to, oh, we can't necessarily have anything, of that sort anymore because it offends people. And that's hopefully the shit we'll see get changed to a degree within the next couple of years or so, because people have spoken out about that type of stuff in whatever way they have done so, right? Because you have to also realize this ain't just, people that we gotta fight against now. It's also the industry that also led them to that point. Because for a long ass period of time, for like 5-6 years, we had to deal with people that's way more empowered than us. Basically say that there's, a lot of things in the works in terms of sensitivities, a lot of modernism, a lot of things that you can probably, make a guess of, you name it, whether it's like, sexuality, more than one gender, or two genders, or 3, or whatever the hell. And essentially it's just like a lot of that stuff is added to it with societal pressures and social norms. And then when you see something like this, of course people are gonna, look at that, not have the same mindset like people did back in the 90s and 80s, where it's not like Surfer Bros anymore. It's basically not like a Surfer Bro time, like, ha, dude, that tits right there is rocking mad hard, totally, bro. It's not like that anymore. It's not like, ugh, how dare you put that massive piece of flesh right on my tea and crumpets. I must call the guards. Like, that's what it feels like for the most part. I don't know why I went British, but it did. But you get the point. Essentially, it's not necessarily the same as it once was. We're not dealing with the same generation that was, early 2000s to 90s to 80s anymore. Now it's like, obviously 2020s and 2010s and such like that, where it sucks. Because of course it does. You new people ruin everything. It's like literally people grow up and then they realize, hey, we can't have fun anymore, when that's absolutely not the case. Like, if your bitch ass like to use a trampoline and jump around and have fun, you can go to a trampoline park. You can also buy your own trampoline and put it in your backyard. You can do that stuff Even if people be like, you're an adult, you shouldn't have fun and all that stuff. F those people. Like, why do you care so damn much? That's why you get people still do, enjoy anime and such. Why you get people with jiggly ass VTuber models and things of the sort like that. You know why? Because that's something that they still enjoy. Because they have fun. They enjoy the fun of things, right? It's okay to have fun at times, right? Like, hell, look at the people in the South right now with the damn snow. People are actually getting together for once and actually having a nice ass time. Because you know what? They forget about their bullshit problems and be like, damn, this is new. Let's go ahead and have a snowball fight or some shit. Let's go ahead and make fun of people for falling in the snow and busting their ass. That's some fun shit. Why not? I'm not saying you have to agree with every little thing. I'm not necessarily sitting here to say you have to, understand why things are the way they are. You gotta realize, anime existed and was made specifically, and should always be made specifically, for Japan. It is not for our American asses or Western asses to be like uppity about this stuff. If we like it, yes, we can very much join in on the fun. We can even make our own inspired works by it. But at the end of the day, it is mainly for them, and that's their culture, right? Coming through to try to tell them what their culture should be and what it is, that's no different from what the credit card companies are doing right now and why people are so pissed off about that shit, right? So when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, you can sit here, enjoy it, have fun with it, or just move on to something else instead of, whining about something that isn't going to change in your favor. And that doesn't give you the right or the excuse to go out your way to just go and chat to somebody and be like, yeah, you shouldn't enjoy this type of stuff or things like that, because that's what they're enjoying in that current moment in time. Like, if I decided to buy like 5 different lolly-docky makuras of some banging ass women, honestly, I'm buying the shit out of them. You shouldn't have to tell me what the hell I should enjoy. If I wanted to bust a nut on Konako's face on the Dakimakura, I'm doing so. But you get the dang point though. It's like, let people enjoy the shit they want to enjoy, which is like the most easiest lesson to learn. And when it comes down to a lot of the shows, the games that you have and enjoy and you are a part of, you don't need to think so damn logically and shit, right? Even when sometimes, yes, you can have stories that does that, it doesn't necessarily mean you need to think every logical route, because it ruins it for yourself. That's why, to add one more thing, a lot of people hate Genshin so much at times when it comes to the story, because you're adding logic and expectations to certain things where I'm like, it probably won't go that way. And then when it's proven to be the way I think it goes, or essentially it's not within the expectations of what you have, then you get pissy and you get mad and then you hate Genshin and things of the sort like that. And it's like, no, it's not really Genshin's fault. Yes, you could critique some parts of it, but it's also you, because, well, why did you have that expectation? Why did you think it was going to go that route? That's not how it works. So that's really what I wanted to say for this one. It just incredibly is annoying how, things like this can get, even on a company level too, because you get people sometimes like DOA and Koei Tecmo be like, oh, we can't necessarily allow people to do fan service works and stuff like that, and we're gonna basically take it all down, which is dumb and also should be saved for its own damn video. But again, I just really can't stand people to be like, oh, you can't enjoy fan service because too much ass and boobas in it and it ruins everything. Yeah, for you, but not for me, because I enjoy that shit, right? That's mainly the shows I watch, which if you don't watch it and you don't like it, you got other shows that don't have it in there or not as prevalent. I don't understand why people just can't ignore shit. But that's all I really want to say for this one. So hopefully you did enjoy. If you did, be sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification on your way out. Also follow me on socials, and your likes and donates to the channel. Kofi and Cash App is available as well. And until then, it's boy Jay, sign off. Have a blessed day.